Maybe you've been following this story out of Illinois and Iowa about John Deere doing massive amounts of layoffs and closing their facility in Iowa to open up a new plant in Mexico. Well, I've been doing some digging, and John Deere actually started the layoffs last year, and they're continuing the layoffs through the rest of this year. So are you one of the workers that just so happens to be affected by this massive amount of layoffs by John Deere?
Hell, I'd be pissed too. Check this out. John Deere has announced layoffs affecting a total of 2,167 workers. What's this? Okay, it has already cut 800 jobs, with 345 of those being production workers, and they have notified them that they're gone. I've been saying it. I've been sounding the alarm, man, over and over again, man. Some of the bigger companies are laying off a lot of people because they want to automate everything. They know with AI they can automate it, and that means less people, which means more profit. We know we gonna wake up and say, hey man, no more. I'm not taking it anymore. To hell with the system. When are we gonna say to hell with the system? We have to change the politicians that we have in office. And that means the independents, the Democrats, and the Republicans. We have to change them all. Because they're not for us. And if you're not for us, if you're not voting for us, then why do we need you? You're not serving our purpose. You're serving your own purpose. And just your purpose. It'd be one thing if, say, you was trying to accomplish something for you and your family, but you also helped everybody else. That would be a different story. That would be something different. Something we could say, okay, they did something for themselves, but they also did something for us. And they aren't doing anything for us. All they is promising shit. They promise shit over and over and over with a smooth talk, with a smooth tongue. We will not get anywhere as long as we have the same people. And I'm glad to say here in Texas, I'm glad to say this. For the first time ever, let me say it again for those who didn't hear me. For the first time ever here in Texas, every single seat is up for grabs. I mean, all the way from the governor, all the way down to school board. Okay? Every last seat is up to be contested. And not only that, every single seat has somebody running against the incumbent. So shit is finna change in Texas. Because even if you win, you're going to say, hold up, man, these people here want some change. They want some change. And I'm going to have to do something to make that change happen, because what's happening right now is not going to work for them. And I see this happening. They ain't ready. They don't want to change because if we make a change, they lose. They lose all of the corporate money that's coming in from all of the different donors, Yeah, we got to stand up together. We got to make a change. If you know somebody who's putting together some type of action plan, let me know, because I'm ready. So I'm going to take these videos out and I'm going to hit you on the next one.
For dealerships, every deferred purchase means another month of unsold inventory and mounting interest costs. Are now seeing a flood of late model tractors, combines, and cotton pickers. Dealers, unable to move new inventory, have ramped up trade-ins and consignment sales, hoping to free up cash and shrink their floor plan debt.
So you've got John Deere, U.S. Icon. Tariffs have cost them $300 million year to date, 2025. Their FY25 forecast has been lowered, or will be lowered, 15 to 20%. Mass U.S. layoffs, primarily in Illinois and Iowa. And their recent quarter's income decreased by 29% over last year. This is what winning looks like? Is this what winning looks like?
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. So John Deere has announced that they will be closing some production facilities in the United States. They're looking at closing facilities in Iowa and Illinois, and it's going to affect those communities quite a bit. Over 4,000 employees will be laid off because John Deere is having a hard time in competing using American manufacturing. So they are moving part of their operation to Mexico in a $55 million plant that they're building there. Now, John Deere, where they produce these tractors that are going to be shut down, is located in Waterloo, Iowa, as well as Dubuque, Iowa. And what's going to happen there is people are going to be out of a job. And we got manufacturing moving away from the United States still. Now, John Deere has always been a symbol of American ingenuity. You know, it's been a pride thing and loyalty. And John Deere has almost 200 years that they've been out there in the business. Now, they have severe economic concerns about the economy in the United States, competition from other countries, and the U.S. labor market is so tight that they can't find employees.
More than 500 John Deere employees will soon be out of a job. The company told them last week they're being laid off later this summer. John Deere confirms August 30th will be the last day for about 280 production employees in East Moline and for 230 production employees in Davenport, Iowa. John Deere says the moves are being made in response to lower demand for products made at these facilities. A local economic analyst points to several factors for the drop in demand.
The projected net farm income for 2024 is projected to be down close to 25%. You put that on high labor costs, you put that on high interest rates, pricing for beans, soy, wheat, corn projected to be lower this year. So you put that all together, and it's been a tough year for the average farmer.
Another 100 John Deere employees are being laid off in Dubuque. All of the laid off employees will get supplemental pay and health care benefits. More than 500 John Deere employees will soon be out of a job. The company told them last week they're being laid off later this summer. More than 500 John Deere
Just say I was at all soybeans and $150 an acre loss. You're looking at $450,000 a loss. For just doing my job, I'm paying an additional $450,000 instead of making anything. I've never seen a crisis like this. Without intervention, we're talking about generational loss of farmers.
In the last year, farm bankruptcies here in Arkansas have nearly doubled. The story in the media is that's because of Trump's trade war with China. And now that China has agreed to a deal, the crisis will pass. But that story is wrong.
The tariffs are a problem, but think of it as being in a coffin, and we're going to nail the lid shut. The tariffs are the final nail.
This crisis was here before he did the tariff thing. This is a crisis that's been building for decades.
Farmers here told us a bigger story. A handful of companies have built a global system in which they always win, and American farmers are lucky to break even, all supported by our tax dollars.
They're just laundering tax money. None of it stays in the local community.
And while our farmers are dependent on growing crops for countries like China, we import more of our food than ever.
The bigger story is we're very vulnerable to the whims of other countries.
With thousands of farmers on the brink, we wanted to know, how did this happen? And if a deal with China won't save American farmers, what will?